Welcome to part 3 of Legacy, Chapter 3 Awakening. In every shinobi village, there is a reminder of their previous leader and the hero to honor their memories and sacrifices they did to protect and defend their homes. In Konoha, there is a certain mountain that shows that the exactly that the mountain was actually called the Hokage Mountain, and in it were carved the previous and current Hokage of the leaf, and there it stood the face of the legendary shinobi Senju Hashirama, first Hokage, leader of the Senju clan, one of the founder of the Leaf Village, and the first user to the wood style. He was a caring and kind person, decided to serve his village. However, he ended up dying during the first Shinobi War. His fight against Uchiha Madara had taken its toll and left him permanently weakened. He was at the time of his death a shell of his former self. But even now, about 80 years after his death, he is still remembered by everyone in the village. The second phase belonged to Senju Tobirama, the second Hokage. He was Hashirama's younger brother and became the Hokage after his brother's death. He too was a very strong shinobi. In fact, each of the Hokage was held as the strongest shinobi of their time. Tobirama was known for his extraordinarily high water affinity that allowed him to use high rank moves in a place without water by condensing the air around him. He too lost his life fighting in the Second Shinobi War, but before his death, he appointed Hiruzen Sarutobi, one of his students, as third Hokage. The third phase on the mountain was Sarutobi Hiruzen of the Sarutobi clan, known for their monkey summoning and extreme skill in taijutsu hand-to-hand combat. Hiruzen is currently around 55 years old. He is one of the most powerful shinobi in the village, but in his prime he was held as shinobi, was held as god of shinobi, mostly because of his skill in ninjutsu that allowed him to combat different elements to his attack. Hiruzen is the current leader of the Leaf Village after his successor the fourth Hokage died. The last phase of the mountain was Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, hailed as the strongest of the Hokages. He was also the fastest shinobi to ever live in the elemental nation. Not even the Raikage with lightning armor could combat with him in speed. He was known for his use of flying Thunder God technique, a S rank technique of his creation that allowed him to move at almost the speed of light. His technique was the reason that he was known as the Yellow Flash. Due to his blonde hair, the only thing that people managed to see was a yellow flash due to his speed in the speed. In the Leaf, he was a hero that sacrificed his life to kill the QB, Yako that attacked the village 5 years ago. And here, 5 years later, after the QB attack, is where our story truly begins, with a small boy that despite being ministered his whole life will realize to become the legend that he was born to be. Konoha, 5 years later, Kiwi attack October 2000, October 10th. It was a warm night in the Leaf village. The sun was just going down. It was starting to dim. A town lights were coming up, and we still could see many people going around the village doing their businesses. Unlike many other villages, even though Konoha was the most powerful village in the elemental nation, it didn't seem militaristic or cold. Many people, if they saw Konoha, would say it isn't a shinobi village. However, the mountains that surround the north part of the village was a dead giveaway. In it were carved the faces of the most powerful shinobis to ever live. It was October 10th. The village was covered in decoration and celebration, celebrating the defeat of the QV that attacked 5 years ago. Everyone in the village was happy. It were time for peace. The wars were long forgotten, but not the hate and the pain of many that were lost. Although everyone seemed happy, on particular kid was very sad and lonely. Uzumaki Naruto was an orphan of the QB attack. He was about 120 centimeters, and had silky blonde hair, the bluest eyes anyone ever had, and in each cheek he had three whisker marks, a birthmark. He was wearing a white T-shirt with short sleeves with a orange swirl in his back and black pants. Despite being what appears to be a normal child, Naruto was hated and despised by most of the villagers. He was a painful reminder of the QB attack. He was expelled from the orphanage at the age of 4 and lived in the streets for about a month until the Hokage's Anbu found him and took him to the third. The third eventually became a grandfather figure to him. He gave Naruto a small apartment and allowance to live, but Naruto was constantly purged by the villagers and continuously abused and beaten. The short the shorties, the shop, the stores kicked him out or sold him rotten merchandise or charged twice the price. Even in the orphanage, he still received the same treatment. Growing up in this kind of life forced Naruto to become mature quickly if he wanted to survive. Because of this treatment, Naruto became a highly intelligent kid that would rival a Nara. He became cold and calculative to everyone except his closest people, that in his case were simply the Hokage himself and the owner of the ramen stand. Only three people cared for Naruto and wondered if he had eaten or sleeping well. During his birthday, things were even worse because the villager and a few shinobi would gather up and hunt him down like an animal. And where is where is where here is where we are. A scared kid was running through the streets of Konoha trying his best to avoid the villagers and the shinobi in hot pursuit. The villagers were pursuing. Die, demon, get him, finish what the effort started. Naruto wondered what did he ever do to deserve such treatment and harsh life. Stop, please. What did I ever do to any of you? Asked Naruto, running as fast as he could, his leg starting to give away. Oh, please, you know very well what you did. You killed my brother and my father, shouted one of the villagers as he threw an empty bottle We will finish what the fourth started and kill the demon. The villagers started as the others supported him. Naruto kept running until he looked behind to his pursuer and noticed that a couple of them appeared to be tuning mid-level shinobi. Even though Naruto was a stamina freak, a 5-year-old couldn't compete with the speed of a Chunin. The Chunin quickly closed the distance between him and Naruto. He took out a kunai and did a horizontal slash. Naruto, seeing the kunai that would most likely kill him, he ducked. As he was ducking, he noticed that time appeared to be slowing down. After dodging the slash, he unwittingly channeled chakra to his leg, trying to jump over a fence to get away. The rest of the shinobi, seeing this, were actually surprised, but they couldn't let the demon get away. So all of them threw a couple of kunai at him while saying shadow kunai jutsu. The kunais multiplied to 15 and were going fast at Naruto. Naruto, knowing that he couldn't dodge them all in mid-air, started observing them and calculating the best way to avoid them. It was then at it happened. His vision suddenly became clear, and the incoming kunai seemed to almost stop. Just by looking at them, he could see where they would land. Reacting to his instinct, Naruto quickly caught on kunai with his hand and started deflecting all of them except one that managed to pass his defense and he hit his shoulder. He cried out in pain but managed to get over the fence to safety. He pulled the kunai off his shoulder and noticed that the wound was already closing. I wonder why am I only person to heal this fast? He asked himself while walking through the village, hiding in the shadows to avoid the villagers. But he quickly noticed that his vision was different. It was black and white, and he could see people with a blue flame inside of them that soiled their body. He tried to push his eyes to see better, and suddenly he passed out in the alleyway. The street and exhausting the stress and exhaustion of running and taking a kunai to the shoulder was too much. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto awake in what it seemed to be a sewer. There were pillars in very pipes in every wall, and the floor was filled with water with about 20 centimeters in height, 8 inches. He wandered through the endless corridors, wondering where he was when he heard a soft male voice calling him. Follow my voice, the strange voice said. Naruto didn't know him, but was drawn to his voice. After walking for a couple of minutes, Naruto found himself standing at a big iron door with vertical bars. The middle of the door it was a very small paper with the kanji of seal. He looked inside the cage, but it seemed empty. Hello there, Naruto, said the voice. Naruto jumped back, surprised, and noticed a man leaning in the sway wall outside of the cage. Naruto observed the man carefully. The man was about 119 centimeter in height, 6 foot 2. He had spiky blonde hair with two bangs that framed his face and had blue eyes. He was wearing a full body blue suit and the standard Jonin flat jacket. He was also wearing a white cape with red flames, and it had the kanji for fourth Hokage. Fourth Hokage? Asked Naruto. He knew very well what happened 5 years ago. He was he knew that the fourth died to kill the QB. He was a hero. My name is Minato Namikaze, and I am the fourth Hokage, he said, looking at the kid in front of him and wondering how it happened so soon. Naruto seemed 5 at most. How? You were supposed to be dead. Am I dead too? Naruto asked. No, you are not dead, but unfortunately I am. Minato replied. But if you are dead, then where am I? And how do you know my name? Naruto wondered what the hell was going on. Naruto, I'm going to explain everything to you. Listen closely, okay? He asked, to which Naruto nodded. We are inside your mind. This is your mindscape. It is basically a representation of your mind in physical form. Understand? Naruto nodded. Now the truth is that I am your father. Naruto frozen when he heard that. No, it can't be. Gigi told me he didn't know who my parents were. You are my father? How? Naruto asked. Well, about the how you will find out when you're older. Minato said, chuckling. But it is true. I am your father, and I am sorry I wasn't there with you, but I had to stop the QB. But listen, I don't have much time. You probably wondered why this village treats you like a monster, to which Naruto slowly nodded. Well, there isn't any easy way to say this, but 5 years ago, when you were born, the QV attacked the village. The fourth said that fourth Sunday, the third said that I killed the QB, but that is impossible. QB is a mass of chakra without actually a physical body, so it can't die. The only way I had to stop the QB was to seal it inside a newborn baby. I'm sorry to say, but I had to seal it inside of you, he said with a bit of shame, wondering how Naruto would react. What what do you mean by sealed? I am the QB, he asked, now realizing what all the names the villager called him by. No, you are neither a monster nor the QB. You are my son, and by sealed I mean that the QB is trapped in your gut behind these bars. QB come forth, Minato explained. Suddenly, behind the bars of the empty cage, Naruto saw two glowing red eyes with black vertical slits. As the eyes approached to doors, he noticed that the former of a fox with tail swinging wildly in his back. This there it stood behind the doors, the most powerful being in the world, the most powerful of the nine Biju, the Kyubi no Yuko, the nine-tailed demon fox. Naruto, seeing this, jumped back, scared to see the monster that attacked the village and was responsible for many deaths. No need to be fear of me, kid, the QV said, watching the poor kid. He knew too well what the villager did to him. Naruto, Minato said, getting Naruto's attention. This is the QB, and he is not the demon everyone thinks he is. He attacked 5 years ago, wasn't wasn't his fault, Minato said and started explaining what happened in that fateful night 5 years ago. From when Naruto was born to the masked man unleashing the QV and collecting it to attack the village to Minato sealing into him. Naruto was still frozen, absorbed what happened, everything his father was saying. Naruto didn't know what to say. It was just too much. Naruto, Minato continued. I am sorry that I had to seal the QB into you. You had a harsh life until now, but I trust with this it will be slightly better. Minato said and touched Naruto's stomach, especially effectively is transforming the seal key to Naruto and opening the cage. What are you doing? Naruto asked, wondering that his father opened the cage to and let the QB out. Naruto, I told you that I wasn't the Q. It wasn't the QB's fault. That night, Naruto will. The QB will help you grow, and he will be at your side to help you in your battles and provide advice. The only thing I ask of you is when you close to your death that you release the QB. He didn't deserve to trapped in a cage to be used as a weapon. Minato, I said. Will you really be my friend? Naruto asked, still a bit frightened of the fox. Of course, I will. I will take care of you and make you strong so you can protect your home and friends. The QB replied, and what happened next surprised everyone in the mindscape. Naruto suddenly left his father's side and jumped into the paw of the QB, so soft and warm. He said, getting a chuckle from both the QB and Minato. Now, Naruto, there is more that I need to tell you. I don't know if you realize it, but doesn't your vision seem different? Minato asks. Actually, it's all black and white. With your being blue and the QB red? Naruto replied. Naruto, do you know who Uchiha Madara is? Minato asked, getting a disgusted growl from the QB, clearly showing no love to the Uchiha leader. Yep, I know. He was one of the founder of the Leaf and was the leader of the Uchiha clan. That is supposed to be one of the strongest in the world. Naruto said, surprising his father. Naruto, even though was 5 years old, was very smart and did like to read, but going into the library was impossible as he was always expelled. Extremely exactly, but what you are what you and anyone don't know is that Madra was in fact my father. I never said anything to anyone because I decided to keep it a secret. He said. Naruto's eyes widened when he discovered that the legendary Madara Uchiha was his grandfather. I am the son of the fourth Hokage, the Yellow Flash, and the great Uchiha Madara. There is no way I am not becoming a Hokage, Naruto thought. With you being my father and Madara being my grandfather, there is no way I'm going to be Hokage. Believe it, Naruto yelled, pulling his fist to the air and getting a smile from Minato. I have no doubt you will, Naruto. Minato said, ruffling Naruto's hair. Now you know that Uchiha clan have a bloodline, more especially a dojutsu, right? Naruto nodded. This bloodline is called the Sharingan and you activated its first level. This bloodline is called the Sharingan and you reflection Sharingan and you have activated its first level. Look at the floor. Naruto looked down and saw his reflection in the water. His eyes were red, blood red with a black tomo in each eye. With the Sharingan will invoke until it's fully matured, getting three tomos in each eye. Minato concluded he didn't want to go any further into the Mongekyo. His time was ending and the QB could explain it if he ever unlocked it. God, I hope he never has to go through that. Minato thought. Oh, I was awesome. Naruto said happily about knowing everything about his family and finding he had a bloodline. Now, Naruto, pay attention what I'm going to say. Minato started. I know that you always want a family, but you can go to the Uchiha clan. Besides having the QB in you, which if they find out that you are Uchiha, they will use it for their own gain. I want you to be a good person and not an arrogant, power hungry like the Uchiha are. Never rely too much on the Sharingan. Remember that the Sharingan is only a tool. Having it doesn't make you all powerful. Okay, Minato asked, getting a nod from Naruto. Okay, my time is ending. Everything I have, including my clan's techniques and weapon, are in the Namikaze compound and only you can enter since there's a blood seal around it. Be careful so that no one finds out. I have many enemies as did Madara. If you ever wish to reveal your true heritage, I ask you to reveal when you are strong enough to protect yourself and anyone you care about. There are people that would stop at nothing to kill you or your friends to get revenge at me. Minato said with a bit of regret. After all, during the Third Shinobi War, he was responsible for slaughtering a law force. Do you know how to use chakra to deactivate your eyes? He asked, getting a nod from Naruto. I am fading. My chakra is almost over. Remember, Naruto, me and your mother loved you very much, and I am sorry that you had to live this life and growing up without love. Minato said on how everything turned out. He asked the third so that the village saw Naruto as their hero, but he was too naive. Don't worry, father, I got to meet you after all. You did what you had needed to protect your home. Naruto getting a smile from Minato as he said said to fade away until he was no longer standing in front of him. Naruto awake in the alleyway, wondering if it was all a dream until he heard a voice in his head. No, kid, it wasn't a dream. I am here after all. You should reactivate your eyes from now and start training. I will help you in every way I can. When you are old enough, I will train you to use my power. The QV said. Thank you. At least I have you with me. I could use the company. Naruto replied happily with everything it happened. Who knew that this night would turn out to be his best birthday? You don't need to speak out loud or people will think you are crazy. Just think and I will hear it. Also, now that the cage is open, you can gain my second ability. You are able to sense people around you, and in time with training, you will be able to sense their feeling. You should tell the Hokage what happened. He will help you, but keep him in the dark about my health for now. The QB said, getting a nod from Naruto as he got up, decided deactivated his Sharingan and started to make his way to the Hokage Tower. 15 minutes later, Hokage Tower. Naruto made his way into the Hokage's office after arguing with the secretary and threatening her to tell the Hokage that she called him a demon. The reason Naruto never found out about Kyuubi is that the Hokage placed an S-rank law that prohibited anyone from telling him he had the Kyuubi in him, and anyone who broke it was subjected to immediate execution. Old man Naruto said, earning a smile from the old Hokage, happy to see Naruto and getting a break from Hokage's number one enemy, paperwork. Naruto-kun, how are you? How are you? Do you need anything? The Hokage asked. Even though the Hokage wasn't actually related to Naruto, he has grown quite close to him in the last couple of years, treating him like a grandson. I want to ask you if you could tell me who my parents are. Naruto asked, messing with up messing with the Hokage a bit before he could tell what happened. I wonder how he will react. He thought. I already told you, Naruto. I am sorry, but I don't know your parents are who your parents are. All I know is that they are heroes that died fighting the Kyuubi. The Hokage replied. He couldn't tell Naruto who his parents are. He was too young. Yeah. Gigi, before I tell you what I came here for, can you tell your Anbu to leave? I only want to tell you this, Naruto said, getting a surprised face from the Hokage. How do you know that there are Anbu in this room? He asked, to which Naruto replied, I can sense them above the ceiling. Naruto replied, very well, the Hokage said, and with a flick of his hand, he signed his four Anbu bodyguards to leave the room. No, now Naruto, what do you want to tell me? He asked. Gigi, are you serious? You send them all away? I can still sense another person there, Naruto said, pointing behind the bookshelf. And once Naruto said that, the four Anbu quickly returned and dashed towards the intruder and quickly immobilized it. Towards the intruder and quickly immobilized it. The intruder had a normal Anbu gear, black pants, and steel pellets in the chest for protection, but his mask was completely white with the kanji of root. Damn, the dad Danzo is sticking his nose where he shouldn't, Hokage thought. Naruto, you are indeed a skilled sensor. You actually caught an intruder that was in here. Hokage said, oh, I knew that I was awesome. Naruto replied, getting a chuckle from the old Hokage. After the room was empty, Naruto approached the picture of the previous Hokage and stopped in front of the picture of the fourth. Turning to the Hokage, he said, "Anything you want to tell me?" The third Hokage played when Naruto asked, how did you find out? The Hokage asked, wondering how did Naruto find out. Every person knew that Minato was, very few people knew that Minato was his father. Now that I think about it, I could almost be his twin. I wonder how how did anyone never notice? Naruto said and started explaining everything that happened, leaving the QB, helping him, and being Madara's grandson, and him having the Sharingan. Minato really was a genius. To think even dead he gives me a headache. The Hokage thought, now that you know, what are you going to do? You know you can tell anyone. The Hokage asked, I am going to train and become strong like my father was, and then I am going to take that hat from of yours. Naruto replied, getting a chuckle from the old Hokage, to which he said, I have no doubt you will. That's all for this part. Sorry for all the background noises. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.